muscles on a bigger budget, and boy, did he deliver. Reitman's style is all about letting his actors shine, especially when they're improvising, and Stripes is packed with moments where you can tell the cast is just having a blast. His knack for balancing chaos with heart makes this film feel like a party you're invited to, and he keeps the energy high from start to finish. Now, let's get to the budget, because yes, even comedies need some serious cash to come to life. Stripes was made with a budget of about $9 to $10 million, which in 1981 was a decent chunk of change for a comedy. Compare that to Meatballs, which was shot on a shoestring with Canadian tax shelter money, and you can see Reitman was stepping up his game. The budget allowed for real locations, like Fort Knox for the Army scenes and Louisville, Kentucky for the city shots. They even filmed some scenes at the closed Chappies distillery owned by Jim Beam to stand in for Czechoslovakia. That money also went into some cool military props, like a high-tech armored vehicle that's central to the story. The result? A film that feels bigger than your average comedy, with a polished look that still keeps its scrappy, rebellious spirit. The production itself was a wild ride. Filming kicked off in November 1980 in Kentucky, moved to California in December, and wrapped up on January 29, 1981 at Burbank Studios. The 42-day shooting schedule was tight, but Reitman made it work. Here's a cool tidbit. The production team negotiated with the Department of Defense to get access to Fort Knox, military equipment, and even free labor in exchange for making the film appealing to Army recruiters. That's right, this comedy had the U.S. Army's stamp of approval, which is hilarious when you think about how irreverent the movie is. The cast and crew faced some challenges, like a rainy day that forced a key romantic scene indoors, but those hiccups only added to the film's charm. Reitman, along with producers Daniel Goldberg and Ivan Reitman himself, kept the vibe loose, letting the actors riff and improvise, which is where Stripes gets its magic. Now let's talk about the cast, because this is where Stripes goes from great to legendary. Leading the charge is Bill Murray as John Winger, a slacker with a quick wit and a knack for getting into trouble. Murray was riding high after Saturday Night Live, Meatballs, and Caddyshack, and in Stripes, he's at his sarcastic, charismatic best. This was early in his career, but you can already see the confidence that made him a comedy icon. Murray insisted on having his buddy Harold Ramis cast as his best friend, Russell Ziske, and thank goodness he did. Ramis, who also co-wrote the script, plays the perfect straight man to Murray's chaos. Their chemistry is electric. Think two pals who'd rather crack jokes than follow orders. Ramis, fresh off writing Animal House and Caddyshack, brought his sharp comedic mind to the script, making every line pop. But the cast doesn't stop there. John Candy steals scenes as Dewey Oxburger, a lovable, larger-than-life recruit. Candy was a rising star from Toronto's Second City, and his improvisational skills shine, especially in moments where he's just being his goofy, heartfelt self. Then there's Warren Oates as Sergeant Hulka, the tough but